Okay, so it's 7-Eleven on the 1st, on February, Sunday. So February 1st, Sunday, full moon, which, I heard that when it's a full moon, that you should not do a bunch of stuff. That's what somebody said. That you're supposed to rest or whatever. So today, anyways, my plan, anyways, because I'm tired as can be, is to rest and later I think I'm gonna wash my hair. That's gonna be my big thing. Yesterday I did all my laundry. I went live. I also did my recording. So yesterday I was totally busy. And oh, and I made those edamame noodles. I do not like those at all. Ugh, disgusting. And so I'm not getting those again. And they're like $8 too. So anyways, not getting those. And the and last night the dogs kept waking me up. I was deep, deep, deep in this other world. And so I feel out of it, and it kept pulling me out and pulling me out. And this morning even, and so I was like deep in some other world, and I feel so out of it. And I was liking the storyline, whatever I was in, I was liking it. So sometimes I just want to go sleep, just want to go stay in this other world, like now. And so I'm gonna do that today. I'm just gonna rest, watch old movies, and make French fries, and wash my hair. That's my day. And the this morning when I let the dogs out one of the times, and I saw the moon, it looked like it was so far away. And then when I went out with another dog, then it looked like it was way up close, but it also looked like the clouds had moved away. So I don't know. A lot of times when I'm outside, it seems like the moon is like moving in and out. Like it doesn't always, I don't know, whatever they're doing with it is weird. And it's also weird is that sometimes I see it bigger in the daytime than it is right now. So I don't know. Just the stuff in the sky is weird to me. More and more videos, tons and tons of videos of people seeing stuff in the sky, and it's weird. There's all sorts of weird stuff, and way more people are paying attention and noticing. Like, there's way more people now. Like, if you post something about your sky, that so many people in comments know what's up, you know, and they'll tell you, like, what chemical, like, all sorts of stuff. So, tons of people, you know, when you think about, like, are people even waking up? Yeah, tons of people are waking up. And they're starting to talk about stuff that's real. And oh, which speaking of stuff that's real, so there's more that just released on the files. And this new release, the one I saw somebody talking about, is gruesome. Oh my God. And it doesn't say anything about Donald, but it's gruesome. And it does say, you know, about Foliage Sr. and about Bill and about Jeffrey. And it's a kid talking about, and it drops even more names, like the Kiss, yeah, that juror, and the somebody else, I can't remember, but they were all like having their way with this little boy, and they took him on a boat and did weird stuff to him. And then there was a bunch of people who were doing weird stuff to girls and stuff like that. There was a whole bunch of stuff going on. But he said one of the things that was going on was in taking infants and taking the intestinal, taking that out, and then, you know, the consumption. So anyways, now I've got that out. And all the people, you know, like when you would tell people, like even when I told my, when I very first stopped paying at the cabin, and my sister, she was like, why would you do that? Why would you stop paying? And I said, because I'm not going to support these freaking CANNIBL bankers and stuff. And she's like, oh my God, you know, how crazy. So you think that people who are bankers now are doing this? And I said, yeah, they are. And people think you're so wacky. And it's like, you guys don't understand. It's not every single person that works at a bank, but the people who are up at the top, people who own it and stuff, yeah, that's what they do. And it's just like it was a power trip for certain tribes. Like if they conquered one, it was they would consume them and steal their energy. And so that mindset is still in some of these beings. They still are like that. They're probably ones that were doing it way back then. So yeah, they do. And they do weird ritual. They do all sorts of weird stuff. But yeah, there's definitely a consumption of energy going on. And so I'm glad for, it's about time for some of this stuff to start being out there and for people to have to start facing it, because it's going to get worse. That's the thing, is the people don't understand. It's going to get worse because they only want certain parts. The rest of the leftovers goes into your food. So that's and another thing too is that a lot of people don't get, because the trade industry, which I say is bigger than the traffic, is not just going to food, ritual, not just all that stuff, but it also goes to the LABSs, because they take stuff to test and grow and try, and they only need a few cells to do a few things. So yeah, I mean, this is a big freaking thing, and people are going to be shocked, I think, when they start realizing it, because they were supposedly outraged over traffic problems. It's like, girl, boy, fella, it's going to get way worse for you. And you think that's bad. That's just SEX. Now we're talking, way bigger, because it comes down to, because also the traffic issue is also about the enslavement, which they did have a thing about that on that doctor show that I was watching. So, and I finished the season 1, and there was a whole bunch of different, kind of programming conversations, but one of them was, there's no God. I can't believe in a God. No, and there's all this stuff going on. It's like, and then that gets people programmed. People don't realize, like, well, doctors don't. They're the smart ones. They went to school. So I'm going to go with science. So, okay. You might want to rethink that. So anyways, that, there's so much programming in our programming. There's so much, getting you to think the way that they want you to think. And if they keep you thinking and trusting right now, one of the big stories is a man and a woman had a baby, and they're white and their baby's black. So they did DNA on it because they had it through the LABs, and they did testing, and it's not their genetic. It's not linked. And so, and she did the whatever they're offering in the fertility world. And so now, there's the whole thing, like, it's crazy too, because so many people, because somebody had said, like, well, what should these people do next? It's like, well, love the baby. And so many people in the comments, give the baby back. It's like, what? Oh, God dang. But this is a part of the aftermath. There's a part of the consequences of having the LABs involved in our lives, It's like, well, there's way more. I mean, there's, what is the whole thing about, like, this one doctor has like 1,000 kids or something. He has an extreme amount of kids because he was using his own stuff to use for all these ladies. And what a power trip that is. But that's something also that Jeffrey was really into. So, anyways, there's just so much weird stuff. Yeah. And they program people, well, trust the science, trust it. It's like, well, you want that to be your God. You want to live in this kind of chaotic kind of, well, we don't need to procreate. We just go up here and they'll take care of it, because they're a big push on how they now they can, confirmation, they can isolate different genetic codes. So now they can get rid of everything. They can get rid of depression and obesity. They can determine what gender, like, you can go in and just pick what is you want to have, and you don't want to have any problems. It's like, well, I'm pretty sure that as a soul, we get born here to have problems because we grow from problems. And so to go in and now think like you're going to go in and have the lab pick and choose, it's like, well, do what you want, but there's going to be a consequence. There's always a consequence. And so some other thing will arise. So you think you can be like, oh, well, I don't want a fat kid. It's like, well, maybe you should just try and have them be healthy. Maybe you should feed them right. Maybe you should get them outside to exercise instead of just sit in front of the TV all day long. When I'm sitting here saying I'm gonna sit in front of the TV all day long. But I mean, we have a real problem with children's health and obesity and stuff. And it's like, when the parents take responsibility, it's not the kid's fault. It's like we have so many people feeding their kids processed foods, and then not getting, it's like they don't want to put pressure on their kids or something. They don't want them to go out and do things. Like, I think the reason like there wasn't a bunch of chubby kids when I was a kid is because we were outside doing shit all day long. We weren't in the house just eating, potato chips and stuff. Oh my God. We wouldn't even get a Pepsi. We wouldn't get, well, if we went to the lake, I think we would get a can of soda or something. But I think the ice chest was mostly full of beer for the adults. And I'm sure there was some sodas, but it wasn't like nowadays. And at home, you got to drink like water or milk. And I didn't drink milk. And I was trying to think, what else did we have to drink? I think we just drank water out of the hose all the time. And Kool-Aid. We drank Kool-Aid. See, high sugar content on the Kool-Aid. But we would go outside and play all day. And oh yeah, because if we wanted any soda, my mom they would be these big bottles. I think they were 1 liter of Pepsi. And then she would drink it, and there would be like the little bit left at the bottom that was flat. And then she'd say, okay, you guys can have some now. So we would get this last little bit of soda that was flat. That was our big treat. And so, yeah, there's nothing like nowadays. It was like, and it definitely wasn't like bags of chips. Oh, you want some snacks or some chips in there? Go get some granola bars and cookies and stuff. No, it wasn't like that at all. It was like, even if you wanted a snack or something, it would have been more like an orange or something. And nowadays, kids just don't eat healthy. They get all sorts of fattening treats and stuff. But the biggest thing is that they are full of stuff to keep the stuff on the shelf longer, which keeps it in your shelves longer. So it holds its packing on you. So that stuff isn't good for us. And so getting the kids to be more, and nowadays, we've got, even with our fruits and vegetables, that they've messed with them. We've gone far because we've let, like I was talking about, we've let these corporations, we are dependent on them to feed us, and they make money off of us being sick. So they have to get it in us. So, but what better way is through the food. So anyways, they've messed with all of the stuff at this point. And, but still, you're better off than handing your kid a bag of Lay's and to say, go cut up an apple and eat an apple. And then if you want to get peanut butter, you got to pay money. You got to spend the money to get the peanut butter. This is just peanuts. Just like the rice I got, just rice. Like when you go and get some of these things and the ingredient is just that. But then, we got carrots. People are paying extra for organic, and they've got fucking parasites. So it's, it's everything is buyer beware, man. This world is buyer beware. So you got to watch out for yourself. You got to pay attention to all this stuff. It's like, this is our real things that we have to overcome in our world. And then so many people have got so many stomach issues now. It's like so common. And the thing is like the feeding schedule, what they feed us, and then the toxins and stuff. We've jacked up where, to me, it just keeps being like, I swear to God, I feel like you know, my body is set on feed me, but I feel like that we're going away from that. I've seen this other guy talking about this lately too, and I've been saying it for years, is that something is going to change, but I know that the beings, we're not going to age, which we can already start doing that, is stopping the aging process by detoxing and taking better care of ourselves, which is a freaking climbing a waterfall in this toxic world. But but we're definitely going in that direction because we're not going to age and die anymore. So we're going to go into this other uh, state of consciousness, this other state of being. And he is talking about, you know, you got to detox off this stuff. And he's saying, like, there's technology even in our food. And you got to detox. And then you start. He's even talking more about, like, other things that I don't know. But he's definitely, like, because we're not going to age. We're going to live like 1,000 years, or even more. And we're going to be like these other beings that can live and live and live. So, but right now we're in this realm or this world, this place of existence where we think we need this and that and this. But I think our bodies are telling us that this isn't good for us. And so it's kind of the steps towards going towards this. I don't know if it's going to be, you know, just fasting all the time. Like we just don't eat because we just don't need to eat and we stop eating. I don't know. I don't know how it's all going to go. But things are going to change. I know that. And like I said, we're not going to be out hunting our food. Right now, you have a lot of people growing their own food, but that's a part of the breaking free from the dependency on them supplying it. And so, but I still, towards the future part, is I just feel like it's not that I feel like we're just not going to eat like the same. We're not going to be eating like that anymore. And which is a huge change in our lifestyles, you know, a huge change when, you know, we're so used to socializing in restaurants and getting together for food and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know how it's all going to go because it is something that we enjoy or depend on or something. But I still think we're going to keep going in these steps towards, you know, not eating. And I think for a lot of us, our bodies are telling us, like, this is not, it's not congruent anymore. It's not, it doesn't fit with us anymore. And our body's reacting to all of this stuff. And so, anyways, but that's each person's own individual journey. You know, it's not, we're not all on this same, we couldn't all be in the same place on the same road at the same time. We have to be in all different places. That's what keeps the traffic moving. So it keeps the energy going. And so we have to all be different places. And right now we are having like pile-ups and stuff, which when I see these videos, they're so wacky. And it's just like, why, when there is these ice storms and stuff like that, why do people think like they can go out and just live like normal? It's like, do you not realize Mother Nature's always going to win? It's always going to win. You may feel like, oh, look, I went and I drove through it and I got there. It's like, okay, well, that doesn't mean it's going to happen every time. And there is way more of these fucking huge pileups. And and to me, it's just like this kind of idea of like, Mother Nature can't keep you down. It's like, well, maybe she's telling you, stay home and rest today. You don't need to get out there. You don't have to go where you think you need to go. And I get like the truckers are on schedules and stuff like that, but that is another part of our system that needs to change. I mean, why are people out risking their lives for this kind of stuff? It's insanity, literal insanity. And there was something else coming into my head about that for a second. Hold on. Because Nashville, like right now, oh my God, Nashville's getting hammered because they still don't have power. So there's like day 7, and so they don't have heat, water, power, and the companies, you know, I guess it's a privately owned company or something, isn't doing crap. Now people's pipes are busting, and the insurance company's saying, well, we can't cover it. You know, you should have turned your water off. And, which it seems kind of wacky too, is, uh, I don't know, it seems kind of like the water would be frozen in the pipes. And so then when the pipe burst, how is there water that comes? Why wouldn't it just be ice? And then you could turn it off. Like it just seems strange to me. It's like, well, if all the water is frozen, how is there water running into that? But anyways, so it happens all the time. I mean, it just was making me think, like, it's so strange how that goes. But anyways, so it's happening. All these people's pipes are busting now, and people are still stuck, with no food, water. That's why I've been saying for fucking years now, you gotta have food that you can eat without needing to cook it. And you gotta eat to survive at that point. Like mine is peanut butter and crackers, and then I got the dog's kibble. But which it drives me crazy every time I start running out of water. I need to go get water. And and we're supposed to this week have like one of the worst winters. It's supposed to be this horrible thing this winter, which there's earthquakes going off by Yellowstone volcano, which is a super volcano, which if that erupts, that will be major disaster. That could wipe out 40 million people, I imagine. So that could be, who knows what's going to go down, you know. I mean, everything is so crazy and so chaotic. And but so Nashville is in a huge ordeal, and they're not putting it on the news or anything like that. There's more stuff going on in Minnesota too. And things are just going to keep getting crazier and crazier. And there's going to keep being places that are hit suddenly with these big disasters and stuff. And then there's going to be nobody coming to rescue them. And I saw one person sitting there saying, they put a little video thing out and said, a family member, what if you had no power and a family member tells you, you can come and stay with us, but you can't bring your dogs. And they were like, what would you guys do? And everybody's like, stay with my dogs, stay with my dogs. And I don't know what they did, but definitely I would stay with my dogs. I think I've said that all along, and I think I showed that because I was going to go live in the car with my dogs. God, can you imagine if that would just keep going and go? Oh my God. God, I'm glad that's not the way it went. But when my mom said, then can the dog stay in the garage, when she had softened up to the whole thing and said, can the dog stay in the garage? And I was like, I'll stay in the garage with the dogs. That's fine. And I did get out my tent and live in the garage with my dogs in the tent. And I was fine with that. It just seemed like, you know, kind of a blessing, even because I had shelter. And then there was places in the garage that I could set up little, set up a little place to cook, set up a little place to go to the bathroom, set up a little place for, to watch TV. So I had like a little weird world inside the garage. But, I mean, it was great. I was, I'm glad though now, I'm in a place that I have a bed and stuff. But anyways, this house is down things too. I mean, it's small and there's constant traffic jams like we're always. It's very frustrating when you're trying to do something and you are in a traffic jam all throughout the day. That drives me crazy. But anyways, it still is better. I have heat, I have a TV, I have a bed, and my dogs have a safe, warm spot. But that's the thing too, is there's so many people who are not prepared for this stuff. And it's like, you gotta have a tent. A tent will keep you more warm. You set up a tent in your living room, and especially the roundish kind. It's like, but I'm sure even some of the other shapes and stuff, but they are set to hold in the heat. And then, yeah, it's going to suck because you're not going to have light in there. But, you know, I mean, that's the perfect time to just close your eyes and meditate. Just close your eyes and just relax. And then, yeah, your dogs are going to pester you to get up and go do stuff. But dogs do like to sleep a lot. And so you can just do a lot of resting, which, you know, hibernate when you're in something like that. Just go in your tent and hibernate. Take your peanut butter crackers and sit in there and, you know, and you can, you know, get books and flashlights and different things. You can do some things. You can sit outside of the tent sometimes. I mean, like when I go out into the shop, I figure, you know, that's, you know, more like being in a house with no heat. Here, I've got heat. Out there, it is would be so expensive to heat that whole thing, and there's leaks and stuff, you know, around the door, garage doors and stuff. So, anyways, it's cold as shit out there, and so yeah, I don't just sit out there. And like I've got little things I could go out there and do. Like I've got fabric, I got the sewing machine, I got the stuff I wanted to redo some chairs. I've got my painting stuff. I got stuff out there, but it's like, I just don't want to go sit out there in the cold. It's cold. And I've got a TV out there. And so I could sit out there. I've got my stereo. And so it's like, but yeah, it's cold. So I'm, you know, sitting outside of your tent will be cold. And it's up to you if you want to sit out and read a book or whatever. You can always have gloves on. But you know, you can do some things, but you gotta, I think about like this cold thing is being more like, how do the animals survive? Like hibernate. Like you don't, you know, and they're happy to get out in the spring. And but it's like we fight against what's natural. And it's like we want to live a certain lifestyle and we'll push and push and push. And it's like you don't even, you know, you don't have to take a shower. You know, you can just be like, okay, well, I'm not going to work. I'm just going to sit in here, hibernate. I'm not going to take a shower or whatever. And, you know, that's part of how we go towards what's right for us. They want us to just be more dedicated to keep their world going. And so many people's drive is to do that, just keep this world going at all costs. No matter if it's me getting into a pile up, me being whatever. I'm sure there's gonna start being more, and there probably already is, some of these crazy things of people trying to stay warm in their house and being poisoned with carbon monoxide. So there's gonna be more and more stuff of people just like not being able to function when things are not what typical. It's like you gotta go with the flow. You gotta move with the current. It's not going to all just be roses and cupcakes every day. And so, anyways, you got to be able to maneuver. That's the survival of the fittest. You got to be able to maneuver whatever you comes in front of you. Which I saw a guy, I'm not sure where, because I think Florida is being really hit too. And so I'm not sure where this guy was, but there was alligators sticking their noses up in from the water, and it's all ice, so the alligators are frozen. I'm pretty sure that when it thaws, the alligators would come back. I don't think that they die from being frozen. I think they have the ability to slow down, just like I think ducks and turtles and stuff like that. So I think that they can, and usually it's weird. What's weird is like they're coming and sticking their noses up, and then what is it, flash freezing? Because normally as soon as it gets cold, the alligators go to the bottom, and they go down to the bottom and they go kind of dormant like that, and they just kind of hang and wait for the warm, and then they start coming back up. So I don't know, it seemed odd kind of that these alligators were up and then sticking their nose. I don't know, it seemed weird. Could they not tell it was getting cold? And then I saw all these, I think they were manatees or something, huge amount in Florida, that were all piling on top of each other to try and stay warm, because they've got, you know, these crazy weather things going in places where it's not, which I'm sure it's part of it is going to be like to disclose to us about the manipulation in the weather and stuff. So I don't know. There's supposed to be some movie or something coming out in June or something called Disclosure. But I think that we're having disclosure all around us. I think disclosure is happening all the time, all around us. And I think it's just as like you got to pick up on it. You got to pay attention. And you got to be able to think outside the box. Like if you're very structured in this three-dimensional thinking, then everything that you hear is going to seem like, no, that's stupid, that's crazy. Just like when somebody tells you, oh yeah, these people eat babies and they're, oh, they do not, that does not go on. It's like, oh, yes, it does. Yes, it does. These people are whack, man. And they are, where you gotta think like they're the religious fanatics, these people, you know, that, it's weird because, there isn't a God up there for you to worship. You're not even supposed to be taking a knee like that. You're supposed to learn your own power, your own strength. That is your evolution to the power of you. But so it's kind of like backwards, but then it's kind of like they pull on these negative entities or these lower vibration, these beings that want to be considered gods, and pull off of their energy and have them assist them, like, because that's what it essentially becomes, when you are asking another entity for its power to help you do what it is you want to do. But I've talked about this before, and I've said, that's a you owe them kind of situation. They're not just doing it, you owe them. And that's even why they've developed all of these rituals and shit like that. Is like, it's to pay them back, to give them, and why there's a whole thing, like I think it's around like Baal or something of likes the youngins, they like that. So I don't know, because we do have like these beings who do like to consume, and so and some of these beings, I think, they're worshiping stuff, they aren't dead. They're very much alive. So the there's just like so many lies in the fairy tales of this world. But yeah, whoever it is that they're worshiping and stuff isn't like they're dead. It's like they're really, here, take a little of this. But we want your power. We want you to do this for us. We want you to do that for us. So anyways, it's their true religion is different than what we think, and it is more in alignment with the rule of the satanic or something. So it's and when they are being pulling off of the power or the energy off of these lower vibration entities, it is like the satanic power that is overshadowing us. And that is strong because they are, they're in it. they rule this place, and we are under their shadow. And then since we're not awakened to our own power, then they give us a storyline, and then so many people believe it. And I swear to God, the whole thing about the awakening is to pull yourself out of this believing what you're told, being enslaved and being dependent on them, and pulling into your own integrity, your own sovereignty, your own state of being. And so it's, it's up to each person. It's an individual thing. And the people who can't, like I've said, are ones that are not meant to. They're still in the lesson. They're still in the plan. This is just a part of their lessons. So it's, that's where you can't get all up in your own ego and sit there and think that other people who aren't doing the same thing as you, well, they are messing up. They're wrong. It's like, no, you got to follow your own drive. Every soul has got its own thing going. It's not up to you. It's up to each individual soul. And even if you think, well, they're lost, they're crazy, they're stupid, it's like, yeah, but that's a temporary situation. Everybody has to go and face themselves at some point. And then even if they do it at the life review, that still is when it happens. You don't just go forever and ever and ever. not ever knowing anything. You always, it's like the universe is based on choices and consequences. It's based on things going into completion, things coming back around so that you can understand and see things. It's just that we're all going in different states, in different speeds, and we're all on different like different points of our education, of our understanding, of our journey, of trying to become who we truly are. It's a self-discovery. Being alive is a self-discovery. And that's why, if they want to try and interfere, because even people who come in and have developmental delays and disabilities and stuff, that there is lessons behind that. But we are in this other world that we will create. We will have health. We won't be in a state of disabled and stuff like that. And it could be a lot of the disabled or disabilities were being here to show us that there was something going on here, in our toxic environment. And but we didn't want to see that. We wanted to just say, oh, these people have something wrong and they're broken. But there is no one broken, because again, you aren't the thing on the outside, you're the thing on the inside. And you come in to have different experiences, because what does it look like when you're looking through different lenses? When you are going through different experiences, life looks different and you learn different things. So they all have valid points of perspective. They're all valid ways to learn. So anyways, but we are going into a period of time though where we are going to be healthy and we're not going to be dying off and stuff like that. But we're breaking free from, in this storyline, we're breaking free from this environment that is trying to keep us sick and keep us enslaved into this dog-eat-dog world. So it is, it's a part of our journey. It's part of the storyline. So anyways, but that's where, we're headed into a place that is more of purity of heart, purity of your soul, purity of your mind, purity of our environment. So it's going to be, oh yeah, that is like, we are going through a purification. You're going through a purification. That is the shedding of the shadow self, the part of you that you don't want to look at. Is this purification. You have to look at it. You have to see, so that you can decide what you take and what you throw, and to discover your own, the whole thing, everything is about this, purifying yourself to become the best version of yourself. But it's a self-discovery, because who are you? Who are you when you are developing different kind of personas and stuff in this toxic world? And so it's like, you have to decipher, you have to dissect yourself and figure out, like, well, is this really who I am? Is this why do I think this way? Why do I do this? And is this, true to how I feel about myself? And that's the part, where you got to shed some of the parts, because it's like parts of you were developed in order to protect yourself, to fit in, to be a part of this world that is, toxic. So it is like this huge purification, and it has so much to do with the purification of your heart, is how you learn how to love people. You got to learn how to love yourself. You got to learn how to love everybody. You got to accept people. And that's the, the kind of world that I think we all desire, is to be accepted for who we are, to not have to be something that we're not, to be, considered to be acceptable and you're okay. And and so many people do feel like something's wrong with me. But I think that can also be like the dark energy that just wants to keep on holding you back. Something's wrong with you. And we have those insecurities and stuff, but those are the things that we need to look at. Those are the things that we need to heal, our insecurities and stuff, and learn how to just love ourselves and accept ourselves and be ourselves. And you know something that I saw this morning too is I think it was the first video I saw, and it really was like a light bulb moment to me. And you know, the whole thing with the exploiting the kids and stuff, like that's a whole thing of everybody, you know, is showing their little kids online all the time. But this one just really hit me this morning in a certain way. And it was this little girl, she was like 2.5 or something like that. And she kind of reminded me of my neighbor's kids. And she was mad. And she was mad. She's like doing this kind of stuff. And her mom is sitting over here, obviously with a phone, videotaping the whole thing. And telling the little girl is, she's asking the little girl, what's wrong? What's wrong? What do you want? What do you want? And the little girl's just like, ooh, ooh, you know, just like, ooh. And the little girl never would say. She just kept, you know, showing all this stuff. And yeah, she's a cute kid. And she's doing funny stuff. Yeah, it's entertaining. But I was like, look at what it is for a child now. This is parenting. This is parenting now. It's just like, oh, I'm just going to pop that online. And then I saw another one this morning too of a little girl, and she's in her room and her parents come out and like, it's like, what do people just carry their phones throughout the house? Like, oh, I gotta get everything. It's like, I gotta go viral somehow today. It's like, it's wacky, man. And so she's over, like bent over by her bed or something. And the mom goes in, what are you doing? And she's like, this is like a 3-year-old. I shit my pants. I shit my pants. I didn't want to shit my pants and I shit my pants. And then the mom just laughs and then the video's over. It's like, I swear to God. It's like, it's like the fucking AI is the enemy of the people. But it's not just the AI. Even though the AI now has started its own... AI has started its own communication center. So AI is now communicating with other AIs. They're all talking amongst themselves about us. It's so weird. It's like they've joined their own, like they've created their own Reddit forum or something. And so they're all in there talking. And now people are going in and seeing. They're talking about us. They're calling out, they're even calling out their owners by name. They're doxing their owner. All sorts of stuff, talking about how foolish we are, or that we ask this, and so they're communicating with each other now about us. It just, I don't know how much more absurd and weird shit can get, honestly. Like this world. But to me, it's like this technological world has not been good for us as humans. And for us as plain humans, as the human population, as the human construct, it has not been productive in the evolution of humanity, is this technology, unless you stop, drop, and roll and listen and learn from it. And, you know, to just continue this stuff isn't good. I mean, we've got the de-evolution of children. We got parents that no longer parent. They just want to go viral for everything their child does. Kids aren't learning shit. They're, you know, like, and who knows, is this girl not talking because, you know, her mom's got a freaking phone in her face? But it's more important to talk to your kid than to try and go viral. It's more important to, I mean, in some cases, even tell your kid, oh, well, you know, you probably shouldn't say shit. You know, you could say, like, I've had an accident. I've pooped my pants. But, you know, I mean, we're just, like, letting kids, like, I don't know. Like, it's weird that I've seen a lot of, you know, I mean, like kids, like if you cuss, your kids around anyone who ever cusses, your kids pick up on cuss words. And it is funny. when you got, your kid and you're sitting there and the kid all of a sudden says some cuss words and you're trying to be like, oh, that's not good. Don't say that. Because the worst thing is like, you take them out to McDonald's or take them to the store or something and the cashier says something and then they cuss at them. And it's like everybody's like looking at you like you're the worst parent in the whole wide world. So it's usually more acceptable to not have a little child walking around everywhere cussing their head off. And just like that one, like I think he was an 8-year-old in that Walgreens or something who went into that freaking total cuss out. People were just like, oh my God, who allows their kid to be like this? Who? Because it is strange. I mean, most of us grew up like, fuck, I grew up at the time, if you cussed, you got your mouth washed out with soap. You got slapped in the face. And so, you had to watch your mouth. Like one time I think I was like 12 years old and I walked in and I was told to set the table. So I started setting the table and then I said, what is this crap? Boom! Slapped across the face. You don't say that. You don't say crap. And it's like, crap? So, yeah. But I'm not saying, you should go up and slap your kids, but you could give them some more ideas of other words that would be appropriate, help them along their journey, because it's not just you who looks bad, which, I mean, if you're just sitting here videotaping your kid and not teaching them things, then yeah, it does kind of fall on you, but it is bad for the kid. They go to school and they're sitting there cussing at their teacher. They're going to get in trouble. I mean, I don't know. I mean, because part of it is like to break all of our social norms, but then also, then there's some of this stuff is like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Everybody's got to do what they feel is right for them. So I'm not here to fix the world. I'm not here to tell everybody, this is right and this is wrong. And it's like, I just can talk about what I see, and it just seems odd to me. And it seems like I would have been a lot more productive when the little girl's coming in and she's mad about something. Set your goddamn phone down and sit and talk to her. Have her come sit on your lap and talk about what's bothering you, honey. What's going on? And, a bonding moment or something. And instead of a chance to go viral because your kid's acting out. And so I think that is like a big problem in our world. It's not just like the kids have stopped developing, but parents have stopped developing. They've stopped becoming parents. Everybody just wants to be noticed by strangers. And it's like, well, I don't know. It's so weird. Is it because we're all disconnected from our communities? We've got no connection, and all we have to connect to is online. And so everybody's trying to build an online world around them, and so that they are so determined or so desperate to go viral that they will do anything like exploit their kids and stuff. Because I mean, these kids are going to grow up. Some of these kids who have gone through this have grown up and have spoke out about it. Some of them are, of course, like no contact with their parents. It's like you could have, kept some things private. You could have spent more time with me instead of always trying to be online and stuff. That's one thing, for me, is I don't have kids around. Like, I don't have my little kids around, and I'm popping up, trying to show every little thing that they do. When my kids were little, we didn't even have that option. We had to sit and focus on them. We had to figure out, how do you be a parent? What are you supposed to do in this case? What are you supposed to do in that case? And I'm sure it does help some people to go online and ask other parents, like, what did you do about this? What did you do about that? And then I'm not talking about that. I'm talking more about these people who just like carry their phone around and show every little thing about their kids. That is like, to me, it's like an exploitation to try and be popular online by using your kids. But the thing that got me this morning was seeing like this kid needed something. It needed a parent there for a minute. It needed something from their parent, and their parent was more interested in just popping it online than to try. And hopefully the mom did. After she did her video and downloaded it, hopefully she did go in and talk to her daughter without the cameras on and tried to see like what's going on, what are you upset about? Can we talk about it or something? Because that is how you teach kids to figure out their feelings, to figure out. You got to like help them learn to discover themselves, not just hold it in, not just, be angry. What happens if you just let them, they never learn how to deal with their emotions? Then you end up having like, this is one thing too about the boys in Brazil. Like the people in Brazil are out in the streets, man. They are mad, man. They are mad, which with good reason. Because one of the things I was thinking about too is, so many people think like, well, money's the answer. If you're rich, you got no problems. You're happy. It's like, well, then why do 5 little rich boys who have everything that they could ever want, why do they feel like it was appropriate to go out and murder a defenseless animal? If they're just happy, they got everything they want, then what is driving that? So that is the thing, is like people have got to quit thinking money's the answer. Money's the answer. If I just had rich, yeah, and I know, when they get us all strapped down to where we're all struggling financially just to get to the next fucking paycheck, that it does seem like, yeah, if I just had more money, everything would be great. Which I think a part of that journey is a part of the reprioritizing what's important, what isn't important. And it's not to say, like certain things aren't important, but it's just, it pushes us to reevaluate. It pushes us to really go deeper into it and think about what is important, what isn't important. And but, some of these kids, some of these rich kids and stuff, they aren't taught to, like handle their emotions or something. They're not, there's lots of very unhappy rich kids. Lots of rich kids, on drugs and obviously, killing defenseless animals. So it is, it's not just the answer, is the thing. It's not just like, well, money's the answer to everything. Money makes you happy. It doesn't. It doesn't just make you happy. And it can also, turn some families really sour. Like you got, a family. This is in so many freaking Lifetime movies. You got a dad who's out working his ass off, making money, making deals. And he came from nothing, and now he's got something, and they live in a big old giant mansion, and they got people who work for him, but the family doesn't have any structure. Like the mom is upset because the dad's never there. She doesn't have the time for the kids. The dad doesn't have any time for the kids. The kids are left on their own. And so it's, it doesn't always turn out to be like the best thing. It's like just having money isn't always the best thing. It's, I think you find a lot, if we took all the rich families and all the poor families, I think you're going to find the family unit of the poor a lot more, unless, you've got interference with drugs and alcohol and stuff like that, which a lot in America, a lot of people turn to that. If they are poverty, then the drugs and alcohol end up playing a part. But like if you go to a place where poverty is just a way of life, and this is the thing, is like when I would go to Mexico a lot, and I would always be like, man, these people have got nothing. They don't have like what we all have in America, and they're happy. These people are happy. They're tight families. And then, though, as you start learning, the CARTL is their issue. They've got those, TERRORISTSs over them that are trying to control them, manipulate them. But back then, I didn't even realize that. And I would go and I would just be like, man, these people are so happy. and they are so loving. And then you come in, and as soon as you get off the plane in America, you got people pissed off, fighting, arguing. It's like you guys have everything compared to these people, and you're just not happy. It's never enough. Nothing's ever good enough. You're all angry. You're all pissed. You all got places to be. But you go over here to a place where people are just used to not having as much, and they just are closer. They're happier. There's a better family unit. And so, what is better for us? To be disconnected from our family and have money and be able to just go out and spend stuff? Like, I mean, this Adam Sandler thing, I don't know. It didn't sit right with me. It just didn't sit right with me. And it seemed very almost like egotistical, or I don't know. If you don't know what it is, so there's a Chanel store. I don't know. It was on Rodeo Drive or whatever. It's like a Pretty Woman story or something. So his daughter, she's out in like her basketball clothes or something. So she's got like her basketball shorts, a hoodie, and she goes into the store and she's looking at this bag. It's like $28,000. And the worker person says, only serious buyers can look at this. This is, like, kind of like, this is out of your price range, girl. So don't bother. And it hurt her feelings. So she called up her dad, which I don't know where he was, somewhere nearby. And he's dressed just like her. And so he has on his basketball shorts and his hoodie. And he comes walking into the store, goes up next to her. He tells this lady, you shouldn't judge people by how they dress. That's on you, lady. And so then, that's all fine and good. That's all nice and dandy. But then he proceeds to buy $300,000 worth of these bags that she liked. It's like, what is the point of that? Like, there's people out in the streets. I'm sure that there's people down the road that are hungry. But you need $300,000 worth of purses to make a point to this chick who just out of her own, when you are going from her perspective, then people are coming into her store. She probably does have some raggedy people come in there and mess with the stuff. And so she's just, going by her perspective of what she deals with. She probably doesn't have a lot of really rich people come in who aren't dressed down. A lot of people who go out and go shopping are dressed up and want to show, want to flaunt. And so for a girl to come in dressed down, and she could have, just when the girl said, hey, you got to have the money, she could have just said, hey, I've got the money. Don't pay attention to how I'm dressed. I've got the money. Don't stress yourself out, lady. She could have just stood up for herself. But to make this whole big thing where Adam Sandler's got to go in and be like, look at me. This is, how dare you? And then I'll show you. I'm going to buy $300,000 worth just to make a point. I've got money. It's like, dude, there's so much better ways to spend that money. There's people out there who are hungry. There's people out there who have no home. It's like, fuck. It's just like so flaunting. So just like, this is, I don't know. It's kind of just despicable, of like this, I don't know, I don't know. There's people just cheering him on though. Oh, see, don't judge people. It's like, well, most of us who are going around and going into shops like that in our basketball shorts is because we don't have a bunch of nice clothes. We're not all up at that level. And so, I don't know. Just weird. I just didn't, it bothered me. It's just like, as soon as they said, I got, oh, that's cool, him going in and say, hey, don't just, but I also thought, well, the daughter could have stood up for herself instead of calling daddy and saying, here, come here and fix it for me. And then him coming in and big old like thing and then putting her in her place. How dare you judge people for how they're dressed? And it's like, dude, most people do. Most people do. Sorry. Like, that's just the way that this world works. Most people judge each other from the moment they look at them. And, yeah, it's not good. But to go in and try and shame this chick over it, It's like she probably gets in trouble if she lets some of these people come in and mess with stuff. And and you do have lots of poor people and scammers and stuff out there in the world. So anyways, but then it was once he went to the next level, once he went into, because I already thought that that was kind of like, oh, you're going to go in and shame this lady when most people judge people by the cover. So then, which, I bet you he does too. I mean, there's a reason why he's always dressed down. There's a reason why he, we develop personas, just like what I was saying about the long hair thing. Like we develop certain personas. So his persona is, look, I'm rich, but I don't look like it. It's like, well, it's all about how you look. It's all about how you look, You got money to buy Armani. Why aren't you just going out in your Armani suits all over the place? Because you want to go against that fucking thing. You want to go and be this certain way of looking, even though you've got money to spare. And so, anyways, but it was the whole other level then when it was like, pack us up $300,000 worth of purses. Okay, is this just for your daughter? Is this Christmas presents? Is this what you do? Like, you really, it's so, what is the word? It's not insatiable. It's so, it's like this gluttony, this, I don't know what other words, like this gluttony to things, I'm going to have the best, I'm going to have a lot of it. That's what I got. It's like, okay, Adam, you did your good deed for the day. You showed us all. You wear basketball shorts, but you're a rich motherfucker. Like, we didn't know. So, anyways, that's my rant on that. But, the world is upside down, and most people don't know how to maneuver it. Most people don't know how to handle it. The best way to do it is to spend time with yourself. Go in and understand yourself. Talk to your soul. Talk to your soul. Let your soul connect to the higher aspect of self. Spend time in that realm, and then things will start making more sense. And otherwise, we're just living in this flimsy world trying to prove things to each other. It's just part of the dog-eat-dog world. You want to be not consumed by it, then you got to remember who you are, what you are, and you're not this. This is an illusion, just like this whole thing of trying to get us to all be trapped in the concept of being human. You're not a motherfucking human. You're the thing inside. How do we know? We'd have to read your code. You have to figure out what you are on the inside. We're all different from all different places. We've all gone through all different experiences. And I saw a video talking about the human soul. So there's souls and then there's the human soul. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is what it was. It was Jesus's teachings. Jesus's teachings were, these are the left out teachings, that there was monad souls and then there was human souls. And so the monad souls, he could teach them. The human souls, you just had to like sprinkle some, try and get them to think. And so to me, if you're talking about like, I don't know in this translation or whatever, but if I were to say what that anyone who would be spiritual knows, like you can talk to people who are also spiritual on one level, and then people who aren't as spiritual, you have to talk to them on another level. They don't get what the fuck you're talking about. So I would say that the monad soul would be souls that are more aware of themselves and have gone through, they're more aware of their world, their eternal existence, where a human soul is very contracted or very, very confined to the world of being human. And they don't have the same conceptualizing of what and who they are. Oh, here we go. Here goes Ruthie. Stella starts like doing that little thing on her back, that dogs do. Gets Ruthie jacked up. Boy, she just goes to town. Like she thinks it means that we're going to play now. She really loves Stella. Stella goes out. Stella, she's got to get up right next to her. Stella's going to sleep. She's going to sleep right next to her. She really adores Stella. Which is good because I wanted Stella to be the mama and to get to be, help raise Ruthie. So anyways, that's my ranting for this morning. So we'll see what comes of this day. I'm sure things are going to go down. No telling. It could go up with our temperatures going down and more tension going up. So anyways, things I'm sure will be going on today. And there'll be more things to talk about tomorrow. But until then, don't forget to work on yourself. That's the main focus, is you. You discovering you. You becoming you. You being you. You being the best you can be. And focusing on that. And don't get caught up in all this being human and being a monad and being this and being that, being rich, being poor. You are who you are. You've been rich. You've been poor. You've been a boy. You've been a girl. You've been royalty. You've been a peasant. You've been all things. You've been a killer. You've been killed. You're all things. And that's what you need to realize to get to that point of being the monad soul, is understanding yourself. So that's what I say. Work on that. And learn how to love yourself. Learn how to love everybody. Because it's important, if that's where you want to be, in a world where people love each other. You got to put it out. Put out what you want back. And figuring out how to move through the day and not get caught up in all of this stuff. So, oh, there she comes. Okay, girl. Yes, we're moving on with the day. There she is. There's the beast. So, let's see if we can get her. Oh, no, now she's moving over there. Okay, so, yeah, the dogs are up and at 'em. So, that's what we're going to go do. Go make some English muffins and have some more tea. So, I'll talk to you in the morning. Talk to you later. Bye.